In NASCAR, it's pretty normal to have different kinds of rumors. Rumors spread through the garage area, the media, social media, everyone on the internet. They spread like wildfire. So it shouldn't be a surprise that there have been some great rumors in NASCAR history that haven't turned out to basically have happened, or at least not happened as soon as the rumors would say. And today I want to look back at 7 of these NASCAR rumors. Rumors that would be really fun to think about as of how they would play out if they had happened, or if they'd happened at the pace that the rumors initially said they would. So let's get right to it and look at these 7 NASCAR rumors. The first of these rumors is Richard Childress Racing switching from Chevrolet to Dodge. Richard Childress Racing has a long history with Chevrolet, but in 2012, it was rumored in free agency all over the internet, everywhere like that Richard Childress Racing, RCR, would be a Dodge team. And this really started after Team Penske had announced that instead of sticking with Dodge in 2012, they were going to switch over to Ford, which they inevitably did. And the rumor really sprung up because Richard Childress Racing was at this point the 3rd Chevrolet team, as Hendrick Motorsports and Stewart-Haas Racing both were winning championships and were just overall overperforming when compared to RCR. So the rumor blew up that RCR was the next Dodge team. Dodge had a Gen 6 body ready to go. They had a car that they had designed for well over a year, and they were going to have RCR numbers and colors on them. It's pretty interesting to think where they'd be if they were the primary focus of one manufacturer, though, so it's kind of fun to look at that. Let's stick with the rumors that surround Richard Childress Racing. In 2007, it was rumored that Dale Jr. would go to the 3 car with Visa as a sponsor. You see, Dale Jr. had probably the biggest free agency ever in NASCAR history. The most popular driver leaving the team his father founded, his father who had only passed away 6 years before. So inevitably, there was a large contingent of Earnhardt fans who wanted Jr. to take up the mantle of driving the Black 3. While maybe not having the Black 3, there was a rumor that went around that Dale Jr. was going to go to RCR, race the 3 his father did, and have Visa MasterCard as his sponsor. This was pushed a ton by Fox Sports on their broadcasts and in their pre-race shows, as they constantly would say that it's going to have Visa on the car and constantly pushing Visa on the 3 car. And it's kind of interesting when you look and you see at the time that Visa had a huge sponsorship investment with Fox Sports at the time, and there might have been a little bit of bias in the media reporting on this. Inevitably, Jr. did not end up signing with RCR as he wanted to pave his own path and signed with Hendrick Motorsports instead. Another fun rumor is one that comes out of the 1990s, and that is that Dale Earnhardt Sr. would sign with Robert Yates Racing. This one's interesting because it was at and around the peak of Dale Earnhardt's performance in the 90s. It was in 1995 when this was all going on, right after Earnhardt had won his 7th championship in 1994. And while he was in the middle of a huge battle with Jeff Gordon in 95, one that he would in the end lose, it was behind the scenes where some of the most interesting stuff could have happened in NASCAR history, as Robert Yates and his team offered Earnhardt to drive the number 88 Ford instead of the number 3 Chevy. As Yates would recall, Dale Earnhardt actually signed a contract, he just never brought it back to the team or made it official, and would go back to Richard Childress Racing, where he would race until the end of his life. Whereas Yates would sign another Dale in Dale Jarrett and go on to win the 1999 NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. So it's pretty interesting to think, with how good Ford and Yates was at the time, would Earnhardt have gotten an 8th championship with him? Now, next up is another good free agency one from the mid-2000s, and that is Ryan Newman driving the number 6 Roush Racing Ford in 2006. In 2005, Mark Martin had announced that he was quitting full-time driving. At the time, many thought that meant retirement, so Jack Roush was looking for a new driver of the number 6 Ford. And there were a lot of names being floated around. Ones that were really big were Jamie McMurray and Casey Mears from the Ganassi stable, as well as a lot of others. but the top of the line for these was Ryan Newman. There was not very much good going on behind the scenes with Team Penske, especially seeing how Newman and his teammate Rusty Wallace never really got along, and Newman was really a hot commodity for any racing team, seeing how he came off of 8 wins in 2003 and a chase berth in the inaugural chase in 2004. Ultimately, Martin chose to come back in 2006, and it wouldn't be until the late 2010s that Newman would actually drive the 6 car. It's kind of interesting to think how good Roush was in 2006. Would Newman have run better than Mark Martin in 2006 with that car? Probably not, but it's still interesting to ask. Let's take a break from free agency for a second and look at NASCAR tracks and see that the next rumor being that NASCAR had planned to shut down both the Darlington Raceway and the Martinsville Speedway. You see, in the 90s and early 2000s, NASCAR was exploding in popularity at an unsustainable rate and had become the second most popular sporting league in America, only behind the NFL, and honestly, it was not really that far away either. In this cutoff of their roots, they were leaving plenty of old school tracks and traditions behind, I think the chief among them being letting North Wilkesboro die on the vine for a while. And in the early 2000s, Darlington, Martinsville, and Rockingham were next on the chopping block. Well, we all know what happened to Rockingham, but Darlington was actually insanely close to not having a date at all by 2005. It was only saved because of the amazing finish between Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch in 2003, which kept Darlington on the schedule with one race after the 2004 season. As for Martinsville, well, they had such a huge backlash of drivers and fans that by the time they really could do anything with it, they were already starting to hit their decline, and those were the least of their worries, so Martinsville kept their 2 dates, which they still have to this day. Now, if you know anything about the internet, you'll know that it's relatively normal to see rumors of celebrities dying, and this happened in 2001 with Bobby Labonte. In April of 2001, Nashville, Tennessee's ABC affiliate WKRN reported that the defending champion had died in a plane crash on the way to Fontana, California. Rumors spread online, in the garage, everywhere that Bobby had passed away, only for Bobby to show up at the track in Fontana later that day. But they reported on this before fact-checking the story, and it went viral. But not only did he show up, he won the damn pole that day for the race. Now, afterwards, Bobby said that it was really bad and strange, that's for sure. Yeah, that is one that I think would probably not fly too well today, even though it didn't back then. The last fun one here is Dale Jr. to Chip Ganassi Racing. See, like we talked about earlier, we all remember Dale Jr.'s 2007 free agency, but in 2003, he had a, let's say, less remarkable and less memorable time negotiating a new contract. Since Dale Jr. didn't immediately re-up in the last season of his 4-year deal at DEI in 2003, rumors began to fly. And one was that the driver of the Budweiser Chevy would switch to be driving the Silver Bullet, the Coors Light Dodge. There was no real meat to this rumor, and it was really just fueled by speculation. At one point, people were saying they saw a car that looked like Dale Jr.'s car parked in the parking lot of Chip Ganassi Racing. That's how out there this rumor went. In the end, he ended up re-signing a 4-year deal with DEI, which would end up being the last one. The only thing this rumor got right was that the situation at DEI was starting to crumble, and Dale Jr. and Teresa Earnhardt were not seeing eye to eye. Other than that, this was complete baloney. Now with that, I want to pass it on to you. What are some crazy rumors in NASCAR that you remember that ended up not being true? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. To all my channel members who have jumped on recently and have been around for a while, thank you so much for your support. It really means a ton. And until next time, have a good one.